My Line, brought to you by Kellogg's Cereals, who bring the best to you each morning and this evening salute What's My Line's 15th anniversary. Now let's all play What's My Line? And now from New York, starting its 16th year in television, here is the What's My Line panel. First, the delightful star of stage and television, Miss Arlene Francis.
Everybody always says, what do you get on your 15th anniversary? Do you get tin? Do you get crystal? Do you get china? We have the best Valentine of all. We have Steve Allen.
Thank you, Arlene. I had not realized until this moment what an old friend of mine this next young lady is, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
And now, our anniversary waltzer, Mr. Bennett Cerf.
And here's a man who has been guiding the show for 15 solid years, done a wonderful job, never missed an opportunity to use an ill-chosen word, John Charles Daly.
Well, good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to What's My Line. As you've heard, tonight we are celebrating the 15th anniversary of this program, which began on February 2nd, 1950, and has been on the air continuously ever since without ever repeating a program. Needless to say, we have some special features tonight, and for us, one of them has to be the fact that Steve Allen is back with us. Steve has been a part of the program for a good part of its 15 years. For a while, as you all know, he was a regular member of the panel. And actually, we're going to have a film that was made 12 years ago in January 1953 when Steve first joined the program, and we'll play that for you a little bit later. And now, panel, to celebrate our anniversary, glad and great news for you all. Get your blindfolds ready. We'll have a famous mystery guest very soon. So have your blindfolds ready. In fact, you can put them on now, and we'll meet our first mystery guest after this word from Kellogg's.
Hi, this is Dennis James. You know, my son Randy is having a little Valentine's Day party, and I kind of thought that you'd like to meet this young lady who came as everybody's sweetheart. Nancy, did you know that you're dressed just like Kellogg's Sweetheart of the Corn? No? Do you know what a corn kernel looks like? Do you? All right, you sit down. I'll show you something. Now, you say you know what a kernel of corn looks like. Now, would you ever dream that that is a kernel of corn? Huh? Because it is. See, this is actually the sweetheart of the kernel, and that's what Kellogg's uses to make a Kellogg cornflake. That's why they taste so good. Actually, it's the cereal that people like best. Did you know that?
Do you know what?
What?
If you eat lots of Kellogg's cornflakes every day, you might get roses in your teeth.
Really?
I think so.
Well, that's good enough for me. Why don't we have a bowl full right now? And why don't you folks join us, okay? Okay.
All right, panel, are the blindfolds all in place?
Yes, sir.
We're good. Tonight, to celebrate our anniversary, I'm going to give you a little clue. I can tell you that the mystery guest whom we're about to introduce was a mystery guest during the first year of the program, 15 years ago in 1950. Now, you can tussle with that for a bit, and we're happy to ask our mystery guest once again to enter and sign in, please. All right. As you know, panel, one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise, and we'll begin everything with Arlene Francis.
Are you a member of the theatrical estate?
Yes, I think I am, ma'am.
Mr. Allen?
Would you be known primarily for your work in motion pictures?
I suppose so.
Ms. Kilgallen?
Is this one question around?
Yes.
Oh, like the regular?
Mm-hmm.
Well, are you either blonde or red-haired?
I don't think I'm either, ma'am.
That's 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Cerf.
In the course of your work, do you ever raise your beautiful voice in melodious melody?
Not recently.
So I'll give a 2 down and 8 to go on that, Bennett, because it is in current terms properly answered no. Miss Francis?
15 years ago.
Seems like only yesterday, doesn't it?
You weren't born yet, Arlene.
I was here. Would you consider yourself a leading lady in films?
Yes, ma'am, I guess so.
I would say that was very much answered in the affirmative. Mr. Allen?
Many years ago.
The fact that you were here 15 years ago would certainly seem to indicate that you're not one of the new starlets, shall we say. Neither are any of us either, I might add. Therefore, would you say you have been in motion pictures more than 25 years?
Oh, very definitely.
Miss Kilgallen?
Have you ever won an Academy Award?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Did you ever appear in any shockers or thrilling pictures like Sorry, Wrong Number, that sort of thing?
No, I did not.
4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
Had you ever appeared in the theater as well as in motion pictures?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Allen?
Oh, dear. Did you by any chance work in Sunset Boulevard?
Well, yes, I did.
I think you have it, boy.
Voice was beginning to sound unfamiliar to me.
You want to
Voice
say?
I love.
Glorious voice.
Glorious Swanson is right.
Might as well say it.
And actually, in 1950, Sunset Boulevard brought a nomination for an Academy Award to Miss Swanson.
It should have gotten the Oscar.
It should have gotten the Oscar. Absolutely should have gotten the Oscar. And now you are going to have another movie. You were doing a movie now.
You believe everything you read?
But it's a documentary,
Oh,
isn't
yes,
it?
yes. But that's all the clips of my old pictures, and there are plenty of them.
Oh,
and
yes.
you, I'm surprised you didn't get it, Steve.
Well, I was narrowing in on you.
Because I was so frightened of the voice, you know. I've tried to keep it high. It's so low. They even call me Mr. Swanson.
No, but The Love Goddess is really, through you, a story of Hollywood, is it?
Oh, don't tell me that. Oh, no, I don't think so. I just heard about that in the booth. The Love Goddess?
Yeah, isn't that?
Oh, I'm just one of many of them, I suppose.
Yeah,
Femme fatales, but that was years ago.
Yeah, but you're very much a part
When you
of
said
them.
25 years, I was trying to figure out. It's my 50th anniversary in the film business, or in any business, theatrical.
The 50th anniversary.
Yes,
Wonderful.
this year.
Oh, congratulations. Well,
I mean, that's somewhat of a shocker, isn't it?
no, it isn't. That's wonderful.
It is. It shocks me, but
May I say thank you from all of us for sharing our 15th anniversry with
I'm
you.
delighted.
Such
It's been a wonderful show for all these years. I think I was just about to do a stage play then, 20th century.
Mm-hmm.
Either I was in it in 1950 or it was 51. I can't remember anymore.
Golly, that was Hector MacArthur, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
Yeah, and you were a nominee for Sunset Boulevard in that year, too. It was a great honor that you joined us then, and thank you for
Well, thank
joining
you
us
so
again.
much.
Lovely to have you. Well, as I told you, 12 years ago in 1953, Steve joined us on the panel, and he was with us for quite some time afterwards. And as you can see, we have placed a monitor now on the center of the stage, and for the first time, we're going to allow the panel to see the monitor because we're going to show you a film of a portion of the What's My Line program of January 11th, 1953. Okay, roll the film.
Now let's meet our What's My Line panel of well-known personalities whose lines you already know. First, the popular columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in the New York Journal-American and papers coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
And on my left, our favorite publisher and author of the very funny bestseller, Good for a Laugh, Mr. Bennett, sir.
Thank you, Dorothy. On my left, a very fabulous young lady who's about to add the starring role in a new Broadway play called Mile High to her other achievements, Miss Arlene Francis.
Thank you, dear. And on my left, the very attractive humorist who has just returned from a successful trip to Miami, Florida, Steve Allen.
Thank you very much. And on my left, a young man who has just returned from a very successful trip to Walgreens. One of the top news commentators, moderators in the business, Mr. John Daly.
Thank you. Steve, you had me worried for a minute. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line. Now, that was fun, and you know, I think the years have done gently with all of us.
Well, the hairdos are better now, I think.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Dorothy.
Dorothy, at least you're still the same color. I've changed.
I am now wearing my hair the way Dorothy used to.
Well, at least, you know, I can get one thing answered. Over the years, I think probably the letters that have given me the most fun are the ones that they're gently written and they're well-intentioned, but it usually gets down to the third paragraph and it says, well, we were at this party and well, I got this bet. Is that your own hair? Well, it is. Now, let's let that get on the record. It's 50th
John,
anniversary.
You still have those pearl-shaped tones that you had those years. They remain beautiful.
I knew Bennett would get soft on our 50th anniversary. Thank you, Bennett. Well, I tell you, Bennett, you ready for an anniversary contestant now? And we will tell you that the contestant's occupation is one, specific occupation is one that didn't exist when What's My Line started 15 years ago. And now, to meet our next challenger, will you enter and sign in, please? Annette Clarke. Is it Miss or Mrs. Clarke?
Miss Clarke.
Miss Clarke, where do you live?
Manhattan.
You live in Manhattan.
Yes.
Fine, it's nice to have you with us. Now, Miss Clarke, may I present the panel? And if you'll join me over here, we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right. We'll get the scoreboards back at the beginning panel, and we can tell you that Miss Clarke is salaried and deals in a service, and we'll begin the general questioning with Steve Allen.
Thank you, John. Miss Clarke, the fact that your job did not exist 15 years ago leads me to ask, has it anything to do with the field of science or technology?
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Does it have anything to do with health, educational welfare?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Sir.
Miss Clarke, does it have anything to do with either dancing or music?
We'll have a small conference.
Oh. Yes.
Would it have anything to do with some of these new dances done to rock and roll, like the Watusi or the Frog or...
The Watusi! I bet you know that other one, too, the Australian crawl. That's very good, Bennett.
Has it something to do with these new dances?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you instruct in these dances? Are you a teacher of these dances?
Nope, that's 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Fred.
There is a new club that has sprung up almost all over the world now called the Discotheque, in which they play records for people that want to dance instead of having orchestras. Do you have anything to do with the discotheque?
Yes.
Do you perhaps have a discotheque of your own?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Allen.
Are you one of those girls in the cage that wilds it up? No?
No. 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you have anything to do with playing the records?
Yes.
Yes, that's it. What did you say, Dorothy?
A disc jockey and a discotheque.
A disc jockey. They have actually, but they call it a. What? You have a special name if you play the records in a
Engineer?
discotheque. Disquaire. Disquaire.
Disquaire.
It's for the Watutsis.
For the Watutsis and the Australian crawls. But one of the things that you have to do, I understand, is sort of judge what the temper of the dances is, and you change the patterns of music as you decide whether they want to do the swim or the frug or the Watutsi.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
now, what is the new? Do they do the? You're at the Lanta D, is that right?
Yes.
Here in New York, in the hotel, the Gotham.
Yes.
In the Gotham Hotel.
Yes.
Now, there's a new dance I read about in the papers. Do they do it at the Lanta D? It appears that a Frenchman of some bulk, who was not a very good dancer.
Oh, the one where they lie down?
Botella?
The Bostella, yeah. His name was Honoré Bostel, and he was a big
Bostel,
Frenchman, and he tripped and fell in a discotheque in Paris, and everybody thought this was a new dance, so now they're all falling down. Do they do that for Lantadi?
Yes.
But they sink down gently. They don't go down with a thud, is that?
Could our lady contestant show us what
With
the
Mr.
most
Daly, would you
popular
do
dance is?
it?
With Mr. Daly. Since, I tell you, I'm moving up very rapidly from the waltz to the foxtrot, and you give me another 15 years, and I might be able to get up to the 3-step or the 4-step. I'm not sure which it is. I'm not very good at that, I'm afraid.
I wish our guest would show us one that we may not know, like
The waltz.
the monkey or the frug. Would you just show us?
Well, I tell you,
Everybody in the audience doesn't
I
know
will. I tell you what I'll do. I will ask Miss Clarke, who is coming over to say goodnight to all of you, to dance over to you.
Yeah,
with one
lovely.
Of the dances. Would you do that?
Well, how am I going to do it with no music?
Well, I think that's a very good
A
question.
cappella.
Bennett, whistle Dixie, please. I don't think you can either, Miss Clarke.
You
But
do
thank
the
you.
one- You do these dances a cappella, you get arrested, you know.
Thanks very much for joining us. It was nice to have you with us on our own. Next week at Lanta D at 9:02 a.m., Bennett Cerf will do the Watutsi. Grand going. Well, we'll have another anniversary mystery guest in just a moment, but first, here is a word from our sponsor.
Congratulations, you've done it again. You've dieted yourself down to a decent figure. Now, you gonna stay there for a change? Read on. Keep those sensible eating habits. Control your weight. You've heard of this. Kellogg's Special K Breakfast. A breakfast that'll get you off to a good start on the day, but costs you only 240 calories. Kellogg's Special K Breakfast. A half grapefruit or juice, black coffee, and a nice big cup and a half of the low-fat protein cereal Special K. With sugar even. And skim milk. Good to eat. The kind of discipline you can stay with. You and your weak willpower. Weak willpower? If anybody else said that, I'd... Kellogg's Special K Breakfast, eh?
Kellogg's best to you.
Now, another special feature of our anniversary program, the appearance of another mystery guest. And, of course, panel, once again, you have to be blindfolded. The blindfolds all in place?
Yes, sir.
And then will you come in, Mystery Challenger, and sign in, please? Panel, as you know, we go back again to the form of one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise, and we'll begin with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Are you a performer in show business?
Yes.
Mr. Cerf?
Have you ever fooled this panel as a mystery guest before?
Yes.
Miss Francis?
Have you ever thought of doing anything about your voice?
No.
Are you primarily associated with television? No, that was a joke.
That was a joke.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Allen?
I noticed that the applause started slowly and then built. When you work, do you wear some crazy costume or some makeup so that the people didn't recognize you when you walked on?
She starts...
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Oh, it's a she?
Well, Ben thinks it's a man.
I did not think
it's
it's
a
a
she.
man.
I thought it was a man.
No, it's a lady.
No, it's a woman?
I think.
Okay.
So now back to our program.
Excuse me, Joan. I was just trying to evaluate something I thought I was wrong about. You are a woman in entertainment. Did you ever work at the Blue Angel?
No. 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf.
You don't have to be huffy about it.
Did you have a show on Broadway that's suspended for a while and is about to reopen?
No.
3 down, 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Are you primarily a comedian?
No.
That's 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Allen.
This man-woman confusion leads me to inquire, are there 2 people there?
No.
Well, I think we'll have to agree there are 2 people here. So we'll make that yes. Miss Kilgallen.
What do you mean there's 2 people?
Are there more than 2 people?
Yes.
Mr. Cerf.
Are you 3 sisters by any chance?
5 down. 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Francis.
What happened? Where did everybody go? What?
They're not 3 sisters.
Oh, they're not 3 sisters.
Try 3 brothers.
Is anybody over there related to anybody in a kind of a way over here?
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I think maybe related through bills, things like that. More than through blood.
Through Bill's blood. Who is Bill? Now I don't know what we're talking about. Are you related to the panel?
Yes.
All of you? Well, why don't we all go out and have a drink then?
All right, you can take off your mask. You want to meet your respective husbands and wives. I think we're about to identify. May I present Mrs. Allen, Mrs. Cerf, Mr. Colmar, and Mr. Gable, with whom you're all very familiar. And we did this once ago, many years ago, and we had as much fun many years ago when we tried it. And I must say, this was great. We were scared
They
to death.
look better now, John.
You mean than they did at home, dear?
I'm just so grateful to still have mine.
I must tell you that my deceitful wife, Phyllis, let me talk for an hour tonight while I explained to her why it had to be Carol Burnett tonight.
Who was opening in Fade In, Fade Out tomorrow night.
Exactly,
That's why I said Blue Angel. I thought it was Carol Burnett.
Well, I have been to the Blue Angel, Dorothy.
Yes.
Well, John,
Yes.
excuse me, but do you realize how few panel shows could have the people on the panel here and the ones they're espoused to there and have it had go on for so many years? Isn't that wonderful? Hardly any show can make that.
All righty, well, I tell you what. While you all say hello to your husband and wives over there, we'll take time out for this word.
And where's the dinner?
Out there somewhere.
Us Tareyton smokers would rather fight than switch.
What gives Tareyton the taste worth fighting for? Why do you notice so many more unswitchables every week? Here's why. Tareyton has a white outer tip and an inner section of charcoal. Together, they actually improve the flavor of Tareyton's fine tobaccos, deliver the taste that makes Tareyton smokers so aggressively loyal. So get the charcoal tip with the taste worth fighting for. Join the unswitchables. Smoke Tareyton.
Us Tareyton smokers would rather fight than switch.
Tareyton from the American Tobacco Company.
One thing, it should go into the record, it was awfully nice of Martin Gable to come and join us tonight because he's opening in New York in Baker Street, which has been such a big success on the road, and we're all going to be there to cheer him on. Steve, you made it a very special night for us. I think all four of you should know Hal Block called to wish us a happy anniversary. And
nice.
it's a delight to have you all here for this full 15 years, and may we have another 50. And good night, Arlene Francis.
Good night, and thank you, Goodson and Todman. And Martin, remember, Baker Street is not really your street. It's the street I'm on. Good night, Steve.
Good night, Arlene. Good night, Goodson and Todman and Donder and Blitzen. And good night, Dorothy, and good night, John. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Steve. Please come again soon. Good night, Benedict.
This has been lots of fun, this show, and we do miss Hal Block. Good night to you. And let's go out and do a little with Tootsie, John. Good night to you, too.
Bennett was on his toes tonight. Mark Goodson and Bill Todman gave us all anniversary silver bowls tonight, and Bennett said he was bowled over. And thus endeth the 751st program of What's My Line. Thank you for being with us.
What's My Line is a CBS television network production in association with Mark Goodson and Bill Todman. This is Johnny Olson speaking. The Beverly Hillbillies over most of these same CBS stations. What's My Line was brought to you by Kellogg's Cereals, the best to you each morning from Kellogg's of Battle Creek.